First of all, let's start with a handshake. It's always the best one to start with, you know? So, we're here, sat down. It's the first time you're sitting down, talking, since obviously fight night. But I want to go back over a few little things, introduce you to people that obviously might not know who Amro is, which a lot of people know who you are, no brother. So, you were UK number 4, 11-0 as an amateur, 15 wins, 5 losses and 1 draw as a professional. You achieved a lot in the sport as it was, you know what I mean? A lot. What was your most memorable win out of the whole Thai boxing game?
I think my most memorable was actually a loss. And I was fighting a guy called Alessio Malatesta, and it was my best performance. It's my most memorable because it was my best performance. Like, genuinely, I loved that fight. Even I lost on a split decision in his hometown, but it was amazing. It was such a great fight. And my most memorable win is probably the MTGP Intercontinental title against Brandon Bartel. Yeah.
That was a very strong fight, that was. Got a body shot in that one, finish.
Yes. That was good.
Where was the fight with the split decision? Where was that?
Was it Rome?
Rome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was It was the tournament of Thai fight, road to Thai fight, a couple of years ago. I think it was 2021 actually. Right. And Alessio is killing it now. I fucking love watching the guy. He's killing it in one championship as well. He just beat Fabio Reyes.
He did. I think I've seen the highlights of that actually.
He knocked him out with the head kick. But he's killing it. Like, genuinely, he's doing so well. I'm so proud that I fought him, and he's such a great lad. Like, I love him.
It's like, it's the irony of it, you know. Some fighters would say their most favourite fight is a loss. It's the one that they learnt the most from.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not saying that it was a big loss, like you said, it was a close split decision fight. But either way, it's something that you came out of it feeling good. Even though you're like, I lost, but you felt better because obviously it made you a better fighter.
Definitely.
You know? Also, you said it was in the Thai fight contender. You're also Thai fight European champion.
Yes.
So this was obviously before you won the European title.
It was way before. I won the European title in June this year. So I won the Intercontinental, the European, and I fought for the world title all in 1 year. So if I would have won the MTGP world title, it would have been European, Intercontinental, and world champion all in 1 year. So it's been a hell of a year, but it's been hard. It's been a hard year.
Big year. No, definitely a big year. Also, you're the English champion, British champion, and as we spoke, Intercontinental Muay Thai Grand Prix champion. I mean, you've got... And then in the time frame of doing it, how long have you been doing Muay Thai? It's about 10, 11 years?
10 years, 11 years.
Yeah. I remember we spoke about it before. I remember you starting, you know. Yeah. I came to Team Chew around the same time that you had come to the UK and started with Team Chew. And your growth was very fast. But I remember you in the gym. It was like you fell in love with Thai boxing, like, boom.
Yes.
It was like you see someone come over, crazy motherfucker coming over, and then you found such a passion in Thai boxing.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you say, what was the grabbing point for you? What made you love it so much?
I used to do Muay Thai back in Italy when I was 15, but I was never serious about it. But when I came to the UK, I was 18, and I was so lonely. Genuinely, no friends. I used to live with 4 people in one room. I used to share a bed with a guy, I didn't fucking know his name, so it was hard. But eventually we all became friends, and I found Muay Thai. Muay Thai took me out of like this loneliness. I found like a family into something I was falling in love with. And the day I've joined Muay Thai, I never looked back. Straight away, I wanted it to become my full-time job. But obviously, a lot of you know, Muay Thai is hard to pay your bills with Muay Thai. So I had to work a full-time job and train at the same time. So I used to work in restaurants and train at the same time.
And I think that's, like you said, Muay Thai is a hard job to make money in, hard sport. But how about 95% of people that do Muay Thai have that issue? They have to work a job, if not two jobs, to be able to pay for the membership, to be able to pay for their clothing, their gear, then obviously their rent. You know, how did you feel like you had loads of time within that time? Or did you feel like you were pressured? Like, because you had so much work to do and then obviously you wanted to train. A lot of people make the excuse saying they can't train, they can't find the time. You always found the time to be able to train.
Obviously, I was so motivated. Like, genuinely, I wanted to make it. Like, somehow, in my head, I was already like fucking number one. Like, genuinely, I was already fighting A class while I was doing interclubs.
Yeah.
Like, I will see it happening. And I've worked so hard to get to where I am today. And yeah, no one gave me anything free, mate. Like, everything, like, I've worked hard for. And yeah, I guess
so
it paid off.
how many years of being training with Team Chu and fighting with Team Chu, how long was it till you started coaching there?
So with Team Chu, I've trained my whole life. So since I was 18, I joined. I'm 30 now. So I had one team. Loyalty for me is very important. We had ups and downs, but we always solved the issues in-house, I would say. What was the second question?
So when you joined Team Chu, how long was it since you started coaching for them?
Oh yeah, I started coaching for them in 2016. I used to cover classes, but obviously the pay of the cover classes, I wouldn't give up my job. So I was working in restaurants and covering classes. That was the hardest time of my life. I would cover about 23 classes a week.
23? 23
hours. 23 hours, and I was working full time. 50 hours a week in the restaurant.
73 hours.
Brother, when I tell you I used to finish 1 a.m. and my first class will be 7 in the morning, and I'll wake up at 6 and fucking go to teach. It was special. It was genuinely the hardest part of my life, I would say. And I was training full time as well. And competing N class level, C class level.
That's another 10, 12 hours a week, no?
Yes.
Just on training?
Yes.
So what, you're gone from 73 to 85 hours a week?
Yeah, genuinely, I was not missing training. You know what, I was calling sick at work when I was tired to train. To have a bit of rest.
Calling sick
but
at
I
training.
never called sick at training. I was always training. Always, no matter what. And Brian Lee was my first ever coach. He told me, knee, and I didn't know what knee meant in English. And he was like, knee. And he would point at his knee and show me. And he was like, elbow. What elbow? And he was like, elbow. And like, it was
thanks to
crazy.
Muay Thai, your English got better
Yeah,
as well.
definitely I know elbow now.
Well, thankfully we do know what knees and elbows are now. We've been doing it long enough.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing that we've done an interview before. Obviously we've been friends for quite a long time, obviously since you came. And we went through a period where we didn't see each other for a while, but we always spoke on text or whatever.
Definitely.
And as you said, you've had an unbelievably busy year this year. But of course, the horrible fact of the matter is your last fight. So the last fight, for anyone who didn't realise, you obviously got induced into a coma. Very horrible thing to happen. We had a very hard fight. How was it? We're going to jump straight in. What was it like after all that happening, waking up 5 days later?
So, for everyone that doesn't know, I had a brain injury. So, it was bleed in the brain. luckily, it's a miracle I'm alive, but we thank God for this. It was hard waking up 5 days later. So like, after, I'm gonna tell you everything. So after the fight, before the fight, I was vomiting in the changing room. But I thought that may be the pressure or something like that. But then, it wasn't myself, that fight. I wasn't, like, my head wasn't clear. There was something off. Anyways, we got to the fight. Nothing taken off to Dano. He's an amazing fighter. Great opponent. But I meant to fight someone else. So for 3 months, I was getting ready to fight someone orthodox, shorter than me, such a different fighter.
Sorry.
And then a week to the fight, or 2 weeks to the fight, the guy got injured. So they found Dano, which is completely different opponent, southpaw, about maybe, I don't know, a meter taller than me.
He's very tall, very tall.
He's massive, he's so tall.
He's nearly looking at me in the eyes.
He was so tall. But anyways, he was so different as a fighter. So for 1 week, my fight camp has gone absolutely amazing. I had one of the best camps I ever had in my life. So I sold a lot of tickets. It was all great. So I didn't feel like pulling out the fight, because the reason why I didn't want to pull out is because I sold a lot of tickets. I didn't want to refund everyone and disappoint the people. Sometimes as a fighter, you think about the others, you don't think about yourself. You're an entertainer, so you want to entertain people. But that's the biggest mistake. If you feel like you don't want to fight or you're not ready to fight, just fucking don't do it. Like, if I go back, I would never fight Dano. I would have never fought the guy. And refund everyone, and like, with all the respect to everyone, fuck everyone. Like, what's the point of being in a coma for what?
40, 50
for what?
quid.
For what? Like, it's not worth it. Even 100k ain't worth it. Even 1 million ain't worth it. All of a sudden, anyways, I'm not gonna go through into that, but fighting and health, there is very thin line between them two. You need to focus on your health the same way you're focusing on your fight. If you feel unsure, go hospital. Don't listen to the medics. 90% those medics are paid £100 for the whole night to be there. The medics don't give a fuck about what happens. So they look with the flashlight into your eyes, they tell you to take ibuprofen and go to bed. That is not what you should do. If you feel headache, you feel dizzy, you feel anything, you should 110% go to hospital. What saved me that night? So after the fight, I got elbowed in round 1. I dropped, but I carried on up to round 4. And then I got dropped to the body, which it was a knee to the body what dropped me. The fight finished, everything, I was fine. I was talking to my team. I was thanking everyone. I was already talking about the rematch with Dano. Like, we knew we could beat him. Like, but the guy was very, very, like, he wanted it a lot that night. So that's the difference. I wasn't myself, and the guy wanted it very, very much. So hats off to Dano for that.
Yeah.
For that, he came to fight. I had a shower, and then I took an Uber. I came home. Straight away outside here, I vomited. Outside, as soon as I got off the Uber, I started vomiting, but I was vomiting liquid only, just water. And I was like, okay, maybe just like the post-fight, I don't know what it is, nerves. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now. I go upstairs and I took one paracetamol and I vomited again. and straight away I felt something was alright. Like the headache I had was unbelievable. So I told my wife, this is not right, I'm gonna go to A&E. I'm someone that, I swear to God, in 12 years in this game, I've probably been to A&E like, for Muay Thai, maybe this is the only time I went to A&E. I never ever went to A&E after a fight. No matter win or loss, I never go A&E. And that's not being like cocky or proud or something like that. That's just me. I always think if you sleep it off, you're gonna recover. But this time I just couldn't sleep. So I decided to go A&E. I went to Houston Hospital. Lucky my friends from Italy were here. So my wife told me, I'm gonna come with you. I said, no, it's gonna be a couple of hours, I'll be back. Yeah. And
Wow.
then I went to hospital. I remember getting there and telling my friend, let's fake it a little bit so they see us faster. But I had a mad headache. I could barely walk. And they were like, yeah. So as soon as I got there, I told them that I've been in a professional fight and I got elbowed in the head and I got a mad headache. But my face was so swollen from the fight. So the nurse looked into my eyes with the flashlight and she went like that. She put straight away some red label on me and she was like, we're gonna take you in. So immediately they took me inside. They put me on a chair, on a bed. And I remember then the headache was unbelievable. I couldn't open my eyes of how much headache I had. I kept screaming at the nurse, please, like, give me something for the headache. So they decided to give me morphine and he put me to sleep. That was on the 19th of October. I woke up the 24th.
Wow.
Bro, it was crazy.
So, before you went to sleep, what was it? Was there any alarm bells? Was you thinking, did they say anything to you that was hinting that this could have been the case, like a bleed to the brain? Did you think anything like that?
No.
You just thought, I'm gonna
I
get
genuinely
in
thought I'm gonna have concussion. I have a bit of concussion. They're gonna give me some. To be honest, I thought I broke my jaw. Here, just under my eye. Because with the elbow, that swells up.
Side.
It hit the side. So here it was so swollen. So I thought I just broke here, and they're gonna operate. Or in my head, I was thinking, okay, you just broke under your eye, and they're just gonna put you to sleep. That's why you got massive headache. They're gonna put you to sleep. You're gonna wake up fine. But then they put me to sleep on the 19th. The surgeon came in the London Houston Hospital, and they did a brain scan, and they found that it was brain bleed, and they had to move me immediately to the London Royal Hospital because they're the best at brain surgery. While I was there, my friend, the Italian friend of mine, Ali, he asked the surgeon, please be honest with me, just what's happening? He said, look, your friend is dying. We gotta move him immediately to the London Royal Hospital. So they took me to London Royal Hospital in an ambulance. I got there at around 12:30 p.m. a.m. And they start operating immediately. The surgery lasted 8.5 hours. And after obviously all that I've been told all that I wasn't awake, I didn't know anything that happened. They told me everything that happened after. So the surgeon came at 8:30 in the morning. He looked finished. So my wife, he kept talking with like medical terms, that my wife thought he just getting them ready to say he's dead. But then at the end he said, we saved his life, but it's now up to Amro. We did everything we possibly can. but he's now attached to a machine that measures the pressure. So we need to see the pressure in his brain. Once the pressure is stable, we can wake him up. But that could take a week, a month, a year. Like they didn't know how long it's gonna be. But thank God is because I'm so fit. I'm dieting all the time. Like my body is very healthy. 4 days in, they decide to wake me up. So they called my wife. They said the pressure is stable. We're gonna try to wake him up. And as soon as they tried to wake me up, I immediately woke up. Immediately. And they allowed visitors then. And yeah, slowly my wife came and all my friends.
That must have been such an ordeal, not only just for your wife, but I remember you saying the other day when we met up, your mother flew straight away, obviously, of course, as she would. And she'd never been to the UK, has she?
Never been.
Never been.
12 years, never came to visit me. I always go to Milan. They never came to the UK. She flew immediately. As soon as she see me in a coma, the way I look, she fainted. Straight away, she fainted. She kept looking at videos of me hitting pads and crying. Fuck, that almost makes me want to cry. Like saying it out loud.
Well, it shows though that you're her boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can understand that any mother watching this now, which I'm pretty sure there would be a few, this is really going to hit a lot of them, you know, because this shows the dangers and the ignorance of the sport that we kind of carry, you know what I mean? Like you said, you get checked once and this is the only time you got checked. How many fights have you had where you've actually been hit in the head? Probably more. And you've taken heavy shots.
That's what the doctors believe. They believe I had concussion going into the fight, but they can't track it. They can't track what happened in the past through your brain, but what they believe is I got into the fight with concussion already, and the elbow was the cherry on top of the cake. Yeah. Because they believe if I got elbowed and brain bleed immediately, I'll be knocked out. I wouldn't have woken up. Do you know what I mean? Like, they would have had to take me from the ring to the hospital. But with the fact that I got elbowed and I carried on the fight for another 4 rounds, it was like a concussion. I don't know. That's what they believe anyways.
So, obviously that was a big factor. You opened your eyes. I think I remember you telling me you were talking about a rematch straight away when you woke up.
Immediately.
Like, I mean, explain to people, obviously, I mean, going into a coma isn't something that is very common for a lot of fighters, you know. It happens, but I mean, it's not very, very common.
So when I got into the coma, I didn't realize I was into the coma. No. I got in it, and when I woke up, it was like, there was a clock that said the date, and it said 24. And I looked and I thought, at first I couldn't realize nothing that happened, but slowly I got my memory back. And when he said it, the 24, I thought the clock was broken. Like I thought it was the 20th, but the clock was broken. Then the surgeon came in, and a lot of doctors were there, and they all told me what happened. And that I've been in a coma and I had a brain surgery and everything, but I was gonna make full recovery. But one thing and I told them, I obviously couldn't talk properly at first because I was intubated. So when you have intubation, like it kind of scratches your throat. So when they take it off, it takes like 3-4 days for you to speak again.
Almost like that's a tube.
That's the tube, that they go down for you to breathe. Wow. So for 5 days I had it in. So that made me not talk when I woke up. When I woke up, I was paralyzed all on my right side. So I've been working with the great physiotherapist, Simon. He's amazing. He basically taught me how to walk again and move my arm. But yeah, it was...
Them 2 kg dumbbells were hard to do.
A lot. Like them Genuinely, 2 kilograms dumbbells I couldn't lift. I couldn't lift my own arm up to like here was the max. But now we're making great improvement. It's been only like what? It's been 6 weeks since the surgery. So with a very hard surgery like that, I'm so grateful that I'm genuinely alive and I can speak to you and I'm not paralyzed and I'm just like fit and making a full recovery again.
And that's what I think as well. A lot of the factor is you're very lucky to have this opportunity at this second chance of life after something like that happening. But I feel like your own determination and your own drive is more admirable, because I remember when I seen you, there was no excuse for anything else but I need to be able to walk, I need to be able to do this, I need to be able to live, you know.
Definitely, like I think it's 90% mindset, 10% is your body.
Yeah.
It's what you believe. Like I remember when I was when I was learning to walk again in the hospital with the Zuma frame, I was walking up and down constantly, dragging my foot, but I was doing it. The reason why is I just wanted to do it. At midnight, I was walking in the hospital up and down. At 1 a.m., I couldn't sleep. I would just go for a walk. And all the nurses, they'd be like, you okay? You okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Dragging your foot.
Yeah, dragging my foot. But it's mindset. Ask my wife, she will come every day at 2 o'clock, visit time. From 2 till 7, they were with me. I would just take her for a walk around the hospital. Like inside the hospital, but just around. In the corridor, I'll go just up and down constantly until I'm tired. And obviously I was getting tired very easily. Yeah. So I'll do it 2-3 times, go to bed, relax a bit, do it again and again and again. And with the physiotherapist, every time they show me an exercise, I'll keep doing it. Even now, like whatever my physio says, I just do it. But I don't do 10 reps. I do it until I'm exhausted. Like he always tell me, don't overdo it, Amro, don't overdo it. But I just overdoing it. It's in my blood. Like it is.
Yeah.
It's just mindset. And that's why we're 6 weeks in and I've recovered like this. People don't know how serious this was because of how fast I've recovered. Genuinely, they can't imagine how hard this was. But just I'm built different.
I think that's a big thing as well. Like people, when they look at you now, they're like, "What? This guy's been in a coma. It's like 5 days." Like, yeah, and he's got his scan. It's massively affected. But you're up, and you told me the other day that you were planning on like maybe just hitting pads a little bit and doing little 5Ks. I mean, that's astonishing.
Friday, I will do my first pad session. I'm starting with boxing only, but yeah, I'm just gonna do it to see where I'm at.
So, I mean, everything here is amazing. You're healing really good. You're on your feet. You're thinking better. You're very positive about it. But this does come with its weight. You know, we had a conversation on the phone the other day. Day-to-day life, going for a walk outside, maybe going to get anything, food, coffee, whatever you go for. It comes with its worries, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I've developed an anxiety that I never had before. I'm always anxious to be in crowded places. I'm paranoid about everyone around me. What if this guy accidentally hits me and I fall on my head? I make scenarios in my head and I believe them. I got OCD of going out now. Like, I go to prep in the morning, early morning, because that's when no one is there. And I try to go to places that they're not crowded. I stay around my area only. I walk my dog now and I do little stuff, but generally the anxiety I have, I never been an anxious guy. Never ever had even tried anxiety or even felt anxiety. But now it it's different, innit? Like, I used to take the piss out of people with anxiety, like, tell them, just stop thinking about it. It's not that fucking easy.
No.
It's not. Because now I have it, it's like, you can't control your brain. You can't feel like, I just don't think about it. Because it's very, very hard. But obviously it's because I know I'm weak. Do you know what I mean? If someone starts a fight with me in the street, or like someone pushes me or something, I'm not going to be able to fight back. I don't have it in me. And that weakness creates anxiety. Because I've always been such a strong person. I just never cared who I have in front of me, who I'm fighting, who I that. I don't care. You have 2 hands, 2 legs. I have 2 hands, 2 legs. Let's have it. Yeah. Anyone. But the only problem is, now I don't feel like that. I feel like a kid. And that's very hard.
I mean, overnight you went from being Amro that we all know, and you still are that Amro. I mean, you're fighting a battle, brother, that not many people could fight on their own. And I'm not saying you're fighting it on your own, but it is you and you alone.
I'm definitely fighting on my own.
And I don't think anyone, I mean, the Amro that's coming out of you now is that same Amro, but you're fighting in a different way. Like, yes, your weakness now is the physical self, but I feel like the mentality of you now, I call you Amro the Elder now. Like, everyone asks me, how is Amro now? I'm like, he's an elder version of himself.
Yeah.
And it's not meaning that you're old now, but there's a respect there that you've learned about yourself and as being a human being, you know, and to see you, it's like you say that you feel like a kid, but you've got so much knowledge and power within you to build this, you know. Yeah. And but overnight, obviously, you went from the fighter, the intercontinental champion, the world champion contender, to now you could probably hold yourself up. You can barely hold yourself up. That for anyone is a massive, massive dump of emotions. What's your motivation every day? What's your reasoning?
I'll tell you the honesty, just discipline. I ain't even fucking motivated. I'm not motivated to wake up and go downstairs and do my exercises. But it's just discipline what makes me do it. I'm a disciplined person, like my whole life I've been. Do you think I wanted to train every day? I didn't fucking want to train every day. Did I want to be in the gym every day? No, I didn't. But it's just discipline. Either you want it or not, you just need to do it. Do you think I wanted to wash dishes? No, I didn't. But it's just discipline. And I feel like now what makes me who I am and like wake up in the morning and do stuff, it's just discipline. It's not motivation and all this bullshit that people talk about and like fucking Instagram quotes and stuff. It's just discipline, man. Like, you either have it or you don't have it.
And talking about Instagram, one of the things I wrote down, you know, because at the end of the day, as fighters, we advertise ourselves really well. You're very active on social media. I know you've got your retreats going on right now. But before the retreats, obviously, Amro, the aspiring world #1, wanted to get to that top spot. You know, you were living every day as a fighter, you know, posting up, bam, bam, bam. I feel like there's a big fine line now between fighters and social media fighters. And I feel like this, unfortunately, is a prime example as to why you don't jump into fighting for the snapshot or for this, you know. And even if you are matched off with someone that, just say you see a lot of these shows, they match off easy fights for people, everyone still has a 50-50 chance when you're inside the ring. You know what I mean? One shot can change everything. What would be your advice to young men and women that are wanting to get into the ring and fight amateur, professionally? What should they be willing to expect and what should they prepare themselves for?
I would say listen to your coach, but at the same time, it's how you feel. Like, it's normal to feel scared and like all this kind of stuff. What I mean is, but how you feel is like, don't rush. Take your time. If your coach says 2 more amateur fights, don't think you're ready. So many people think, oh, I'm ready for A class, and they fucking C class level.
Yeah.
But in their head, or they got so many people gassing them around them, telling them how great they are, and like, this is what social media is fucked for. Say you're a C class fighter, and you get a good knockout, or like you have good following on Instagram, okay? People start saying, oh, how great you are, like you're amazing, you're this, you're that. What happens is you start believing this. You don't take any more criticism by the people that actually, in real life, that actually got knowledge. You're immune to criticism, like you don't take criticism, you think you know it all. And I know people like that. I know people with such an amazing Instagram, they fucking bums in real life. And like, what you're trying to do you want to live real life or social media life? This is the reality. This is the real life. When I spar some of these people, I kill them in the gym. The day after, I see their post, are they amazing, or doing bag work, or doing this, or doing that. Brother, you got smoked yesterday in the gym by 10 people.
Yeah.
How the fuck you posting this?
I think you said that is right. It's the people around them that are good, or as well, they hang around with people that are really good, and then they get into the, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to knock that person, I'm going to get that person. And it can happen to anyone. It can happen to any fighter. You can kind of get caught on that avalanche of false insecurity, you know. But, I mean, you met, and we'll go back to the actual fight camp now, actually. I want to go on and talk about the fight camp, because you had an amazing fight camp for this fight, you know. Everything was in line. I mean, I was following all your socials, you know, I was following your regime, checking them at training, you know, your fucking, everything was kosher. But you said you suffered a bit of headaches throughout fight camp.
Yes.
I remember you saying that. And, you know, as with a lot of fighters, we kind of get a sore head, go, oh, that was just a punch I got in training, I've got a bruise or whatever. Yeah. I think, like, obviously after what's happened to you, a big thing for fighters is to get regular checkups during fight camp for their head, you know. Because I remember the other day I was sparring and I had this pain in my head and I was like, boom, now, thankfully after my fight I had checked and I was cool. But you would ignore that.
Yes.
And that's during fight camp. That's not even a fight. You had an amazing fight camp. What was, when you had the headaches and that, was there any concern? Did you not ever think about what if?
I used to talk to Matty, my coach Matthew too, about it. And after every sparring, like after most hard sparring, I was like, I had headache, I was shaking a bit. I would take magnesium to calm down. And then I will take ibuprofen when I get home. And I'll go to sleep, I'll wake up, I'm brand new. So I was kind of, wow. I don't know if this is part of it or not part of it. But this fight camp especially, I've never had so many headaches. Like in my life, not just in camp. I never had so many headaches like this camp.
And your weight cut was good, everything was good.
Everything was perfect.
Yeah.
Dieting was amazing.
Because a lot of people try and put it down to the weight cut. They say, oh, you've cut too much water. You know, you haven't rehydrated enough. But I remember seeing you at weigh-in. Like, you were actually the fullest and healthiest Amro that I've seen at weigh-in. And sometimes you could have had a hard cut. Genuinely. You know?
Liam Williams, my nutritionist, Liam, he absolutely killed it. He gave me the best plan. I felt so energetic. Everything was great. Weight cut was good. It's just on the fight, what I find it weird is me vomiting before.
Were you vomiting before the fight
as
well?
Yes. So before the fight, I vomited in the changing rooms. And then, obviously just before it happened.
So, let's move off from fighting a little bit, because I feel like we've covered a lot from obviously the fight night, the build up of fight camp, of course, the big moment when it all happened and everyone being there for you. So I want to talk a little bit about, let's go separate, let's go to the family. So again, I'm going to bring social media in again because I see a lot of your posts. I see you post a lot with your brother Karim.
Yes.
You guys are very close, obviously, you're brothers.
Yes.
Has this happening? Has this brought you two even closer together now?
Yeah, definitely.
And does he live here or does he live in Italy?
He lives in Milan.
Lives in Milan.
Definitely brought us closer. When that happened, the night that happened, my brother never had a passport because he just couldn't be bothered to get a passport. Because obviously everywhere he travels is in the EU, so you can just travel with the ID.
Easy.
So you don't really need a passport. And the waiting list to get a passport in Italy is massive. So when that happened, he cried his heart out, and then he was saying, "Oh, I never told him I love you enough," and because we don't realize, like, the people you actually love. Look at you. How many times you wake up and you tell your sister, "I love you," or like your brother, "I love you," or like your mom, "I love you"? Never. You always take it for granted for them being there, but life is genuinely a moment. Like, we're here for like a very short period of time. It's so quick, you don't even realize it. You feel invincible until stuff like this happens. It's like, and then all you think about is just your health. Nothing matters. No matter what you have, you can have millions and millions of pounds in your bank. All you care about is your health. You just wanna wake up. But like with my brother, yeah, we're very, very close now. Even with my sister, we're super close.
Has this, I don't know, this is probably a bit of a silly question to ask, but as a whole family, it feels like everything is kind of that love, it's reminded you like, what? This is how important your family is.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And I think it goes out there, this isn't about you personally, but like, if people are ever falling out with their family, just say like brothers fall out, brothers and sisters fall out, kids fall out with their parents, you should always try and make sure that that things are good between you guys, you know, and that you're not talking all the time, but there's that respect there, because like you said, one day someone could just go, and
That's
then
it.
you'll regret all that stuff that you didn't talk about, the stuff that you didn't fix, like the arguments if you had arguments. Because like growing up in Ireland, I knew different families and different brothers, many brothers, had fallen out, and they to this day don't talk, won't even look at each other on the street. And I think it's so sad that you shared memories as a child with this person that you say you loved, and now it's just gone. But then the day that all switches off is the day that you're gonna have to go.
I definitely believe blood is thicker than water, and it's like, no matter what, I know my family will always have my back, and they'll always be there for me, no matter how many times we argue, and I will be there for them. Like, I do a lot for my family, and I will forever do a lot for them, but I will never like say I do stuff for them. Like, what I do is between me and them and God. That's it. Like, I love my family to like madly. I love them madly, and like they great. They always been great, and yeah.
No, I very heavy subject, you know, especially with families. Because I think like as well, we get so caught up as fighters, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna be the best in the world, man. But we forget that our parents are looking at us going into battle, you know, and watching us, whether it be on a phone or it be live. They don't know what's going to happen. You know, chances are our parents aren't fighters. You know, you see a lot of fighters. Yes, you have fighters from parents that were ex-fighters, but a lot more fighters never had parents that were fighters. There's been a reason. Something said to us, going, you should step into a Muay Thai ring.
Definitely.
You should fight. And we're like, why? All of our parents were never fighters.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask a big question, you know. What's next for Amro? What's the story? What's the plan for Amro's life now?
So obviously after this injury, I can never fight again, and I cried when they first told me that. But what's fighting compared to the rest of your life? Like, this is something we enjoy doing, but I enjoy a lot of other things. Like, do you know what I mean? At the start, I couldn't get over it, and like, I was, because all I had in my head was the rematch, and all I wanted was to rematch this person. But obviously, the doctor said you can never fight again. It's too dangerous. So at the start, I thought, fuck, this is the end. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But slowly, I run retreats. So AM retreat. I have my guys now. They down in Thailand.
Yes,
in Phuket.
I see that. I see it. They all look like they're having fun.
Yeah, they loving it.
Yeah.
They banked out. I'm so jealous.
Well, next year you can go to next
Yes,
year.
Next year.
Next
year
year
for sure. Right now I can't fly as well because of the.
How
pressure.
long?
They think in March. So May is gonna be my next retreat.
Okay.
And we're planning to go to Bali. So that's gonna be a good one. Right now, the person who's running the retreat is Eleanor.
Yes, Eleanor Creasy, yes. Yeah. Big shout out, Eleanor.
Yeah, shout out, thank you. And, my idol, thank you. And yeah, she's doing an amazing job. I can't thank her enough. Genuinely, I can't wait to see her. She moved to Thailand to fight there.
Wow.
And that's the reason why she was already in Thailand, so she could save like the retreat. But yeah, that's one of my projects. Another project, this is an exclusive, no one knows this, but I think I'm gonna be a fashion designer. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I always liked clothing.
Well, I've been brother, come on, I've known you for a while. You're the most fashionable guy I know.
I always loved clothing. I always loved designing clothes.
This is cool.
I've been drawing a lot now that I have nothing to do basically.
Loads of time now.
All day,
loads of time.
Nothing to fucking do. So I've been drawing my first drop.
So what style are we looking at here?
It's gonna be sport streetwear.
Cool.
Italian luxury sport streetwear. But it's gonna be sporty-ish. Tracksuits, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have to fly to Porto to see so everything is produced in Portugal because they have the best quality. And yeah, I'm gonna have to fly to Porto. As soon as they give me the green light, I can fly. It's my first step to go there, meet the manufacturer, and yeah.
I think that's already our follow-up podcast to Amro.
Yes.
When we go to Porto together, and I'll be interviewing him with his new piece. That's pretty cool, Amro. You know. And again, I'll go back to the last time we sat down when I came to see you, and you hit me hard. That day was a very big day. But in terms of, as fighters, we get lost in being the fighter, training hard. Everything is about training. Everything's about fighting. Everything's about, especially again with the social media, being strong on socials, being on top of your game, being quick, being witty, having good chat as well, because you don't want to seem like you always want to be strong. But obviously when you're hit with a moment like this, you realize how much you have behind you. So like work, or if you're doing nothing, if it's just fighting. But the fact that you have the retreats, you have this other stuff going on, you show that we're not just fighters. We're not just these bruisers that want to hit each other and just sell tickets. And I think it's a vital thing for young people in general to remember that your fight life is, it can be very short, but it is very short. I mean, out of your whole life, unless you're like the rare ones, like the Thai guys, or you see like, Harrison or whatever, these names that have been fighting for years and years and years and years, they're lucky that they've got that space to do that,
But how many of them?
That's what I mean, it's not a lot of people.
I know only John Waypart and Liam Harrison.
That's it.
At this age, they managed to fight up to 40.
And that's out of Thailand, because usually the Thais can fight probably all their life, because they're so used to them. But even though their style of fighting is very different, because Thais is all about display and technicalities and beautiful Muay Thai. I feel like it's the foreigners, the Westerners, that are bringing this more brutal element now, especially with the 4-ounce gloves. Muay Thai is evolving now to that heavy boxing, heavy brutality kind of fight now. So you've got the retreat, you've got the clothing. So we are not seeing the last of Amro at all.
No, impossible.
Nah. This is a different, new, improved version of Amro.
Every 10 years I like to change. Since I was a child. From 0 to 10 I was a child. From 10 to 20 I was a criminal. From 20 to 30 I was a Muay Thai fighter. Now from 30 to 40 I'm going to be a fashion designer. Then who knows? Yeah, why not?
10 to 20 I was a criminal. And I think as well, do you know that saying, stay in your lane?
Yes.
I hate that saying.
Yeah.
I hate it, bro.
You got to come out.
I think that's what causes depression sometimes, you know, like you want to stay in a lane and you think, this is all I'm good at. Everyone tells you, nah, I know Amro, I know Kieran, they're good at this. They're so good at this, they should stay doing this. And I don't listen to that.
I always had genuinely a plan B.
Yeah.
Like, yes, plan A was always being a fighter, dedicate myself to fighting and training, but eventually fighting would have finished. Like, if it wasn't now because of this problem, how long do you think I have? 5 more years. At 35, you're still a young person. What are you going to do at 35? If all you ever done is fighting and you're not at that level where you're an elite fighter of one championship where you get a ridiculous amount of money, you're not up there.
Yeah.
And only a couple of people I know, they get paid really, really well in one championship. All the rest get paid average. Okay? What are you gonna do? Yeah. If all your eggs are in one basket, I understand, you're leaving the moment. But what's after? Yeah. What are you gonna do after? Because I'm fucking willing to hold pads for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 50 years old, 40 years old, holding pads in the gym. Like, that's always been my idea of hell. I want to enjoy my kids, my future kids. I want to enjoy my wife, my family. I want to have time for them. I don't want to be locked in a gym all day holding pads. Some people may enjoy it, but that's not me. Yeah. Personally.
I think that as well is like what people are willing to do. I think it's out of their comfort zone. For someone like us, training is easy because we love it. I'm not saying training is easy, but I'm saying it's easy for us to turn up for training and rather do that than do work. Yeah. You know? And I think that because every young person now wants to get paid for this game, but they don't understand what happens with it. You know, like, I mean, obviously we push fights, you know, we, especially myself, love calling out people and love doing that because it's part of the game. And I love the game. Yes. We only get one shot in life, so we might as well have the fucking crack. But you forget that these young people think, right, that it's all given to you, that if you go to someone and go, can you sponsor me? You know what, you think that you deserve 100, 500, 1,000 pounds, even a tenner, you think you deserve a tenner. I was like, with Muay Thai or with boxing or with all them, Muay Thai is so rare because for some strange reason we cannot get this money up in it. But you'll see every fighter want to fight in it. All the real dogs want to fight in Muay Thai, the real ones. But then when you see them try to go, oh, how do you get paid more money, Kieran? How do you get more? How do you do it? I was like, where's your opportunity? Where are you building your own opportunity? Like, you know, especially stuff like this. I mean, this in itself is an opportunity, you know, to jump on and talk about like all these life experiences. But are you willing to do it? Are you willing to push the boat out? You know, everyone goes, yes, I can do it. But until you're put on your arse, which say, for example, you've got one shot to the head, life's changed completely. You've got retreats going. You've got, now, fortunately, we've announced it, your fashion brand going on. And then God knows what else is going to happen from that, you know. Do you think one day that you might own a gym?
I don't know. My dream was to have my own team. Always thought about it, opening a gym. But right now, I think I want to be away from the gym. Like, I don't know, I'm a bit traumatized. Like, even like the fact of like having to go to a gym to teach people, which I already do, I came back to teach. It's just doing it out of boredom, but being there, I love it and everything, but don't take me wrong, but it left me a bit scarred. Like, I am a little bit traumatized.
Oh, you're bound to be though.
Yeah.
Brother. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for you, but in the nicest respects, not one person that you're going to meet will understand what's going through your head. And the sooner people realize that, that's when you'll be good. Because I feel like people will always try and want to give you advice or try and speak to you like, you'll only be able to step back into a gym, put pads on, whatever, when that switches. That could be a year, that could be 2 years. It might never happen, you know. But I have seen you put a post up on your story, and it was you cornering your teammate, and you said, I want this to be my job one day, you know. And I think at the same time, Amro, as much as you might never own a gym again, you as like a coach to individuals just with this and this, because you've got a lot of this, you know, even though you have brain surgery, you've got a lot of this.
Yeah.
And to be honest, since your brain surgery, you've actually got more brain cells.
I have time to sit down and think now.
Like, it's, you know, it's, for me, I can't watch the fight. I've not watched it. I've not watched any fights from that show that night, and I won't. Because I wanted to talk to you more about it, but I couldn't watch it. I just can't. And
I did.
But the thing is, right?
I've watched it twice.
And what goes through your head from watching it back?
Nothing. I'm thinking it's fucking entertaining fight. Yeah. Genuinely.
That takes all that emotion out.
Yeah. So fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
If I paid money, I'll fucking love it.
Yeah.
Like, if I was outside on the crowd watching this, I'll be buzzing.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was sick fight. I watched it twice. One, it was a camera, the normal camera filming on YouTube, and another one, it was the ringside camera.
Yeah.
And I watched it. Every round is sick. I thought I'd done better than what I remembered.
Yeah. I've watched clips. I've seen clips of it. Don't get me wrong. I have seen clips.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I haven't. I just choose not to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
I had to watch the whole thing.
Of course. I think for you though, for your heart.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Because it was playing on the back of my mind and I couldn't remember it, and I had to watch it.
I'm too much of an emotional Sally. You know what I mean? I'm too emotional. But I mean, look, I think we've touched on so much. I mean, you know, we've spoke a lot before on another interview about our past and stuff like that. But I mean, in terms of like from where I seen you start to where you are now, it's like I always just see Amro elevate, you know. Even with this happen, it's just elevate. Like, there's no reason to not elevate. Or what, you just die quicker. And I feel like you're not allowing that in. I mean, is there anyone that you'd like to, you know, especially shout out for everything over the last couple of months, you know? Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Just one person, and genuinely she's been my rock, my wife Emma. Shout out to you. I know it's been the hardest time, and it's been very, very hard on you, but you stood like a soldier, and you genuinely had my back, and you've been so strong, and I fucking love you with all my heart.
Nah. Well, I mean, thank you, Emma, as well, for being by his side.
Yes.
I mean, I was getting updates from one of the guys who actually messaged me on the Monday. So the Monday I was driving to my missus's house, and I was feeling all sorry for myself and blah blah blah. But then I got a message, yo, have you heard about Amro? I'm like, what? And instantly, but the one thing that he kept saying was how Emma was there through thick and thin, no matter what.
Yeah.
Whenever there was visitors allowed, because there were some times as well, some visitors couldn't come see you.
Yes, because basically there was too many visitors and a lot of people, and while I was in a coma, everyone was coming in and touching me, you know, being
loving,
like,
and nice,
being nice, but Then the nurses were stressing because of risk of infection. If anyone was ill and they touch me, I'll get ill, and yeah, it would have been a disaster. So that's why Emma was stressing. Like she wanted everyone to stop coming visiting because it was genuinely too many people.
But it's a nice feeling, though.
It is.
To have that many people there to support and love you, but also on the flip side of this is still a big situation that's happened.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to be extra careful. I didn't touch on it too much, but I'm going to quickly ask now. Mental health, right? Men's mental health. Now, a lot of men suffer with mental health on a day-to-day basis, as we know. How have you mainly been processing all this with your mental health? Have you been speaking to someone? Have you been doing something on the side? How have you been handling most of this?
My mental health hasn't been great, to be honest. I've been thinking a lot, especially with the retreats going on. Not being able to be there is massive. And you know, Thailand is 7 hours ahead. So when we awake, they sleeping, or when they sleeping, we awake. And it's hard to communicate. You got this couple of hours where you can communicate and say what you want to say. But yeah, I've been dealing with it just by taking walks, going to the gym when I'm stressed, go see at prep. I genuinely been like seeing Matty, Stephen, try to talk out with some friends, but Emma again been the main reason why my mental health is getting better, because obviously I have her, so we spend so much time together, we chat all the time, but yeah, my mental health hasn't been great, even though you would think it has.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so good at putting a mask on and like everything is fine, everything is alright, but inside me it is fucking hard.
No, I think as a massive toll as well, like for anyone that is suffering with bad mental health out there, men or women, like please reach out to any of those closest to you. Fuck, even drop me a message, drop Amro, and maybe Amro is, he can help your mental health as well, because he's that strong. 100%. But I mean, always message a friend, a family member. You know, this we forget, like, as much as you might think life is crazy, it could be shit at times, it could be great. You get one shot to experience this. You get one fucking shot. So with every single ounce of passion and joy that you can, try and keep yourself here. Because, you know, people go through a lot of bad stuff, and of course terrible things happen. But if you go, it's worse for everyone else.
Yes.
But if you get the chance to stay, just live it with everyone as long as you can. You know, we don't stay here forever, so that's one guarantee.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I'm just very, very fucking grateful that you're still here, Amro.
Cheers,
Thank you, brother. And listen,
thank you.
This is the first episode of whatever, but mainly this is for you. This is a good point for you, Amro, to talk, because obviously you've been quiet, respectfully, on socials and everything since the fight. And I'm glad that you trusted me to have the first podcast to do this with, and I'm really grateful, and yeah, I'm just very happy that you're here.
Love, Kieran. You know I got love for you.
No, thank you, brother. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for joining. I hope this was very insightful and you found a lot of knowledge and good points from this. But most importantly, I think the biggest thing is accountability with this, about listening to your body, understanding the true factors of fighting, that fighting is not just a beautiful sport, it's a very beautifully violent sport, and it can be a shot of an elbow, anything can just change your life forever. So make sure you're in strong with your team, you're training hard, and you know exactly what you want to do. And look, this can happen to anyone, but just know what you're doing. And thank you all very much. Part of the film and crew is Televida, is doing the podcast, so it is myself and Televida working in collaboration, to start off a new podcast series. And yeah, any names or people that you would like me to interview and chat to, please shoot them my way, and we'll get them out. So thank you very much, and yeah, hasta luego.
Thank you.